Welcome back to Well, What Do You Know, the podcast dedicated to preserving stories. In today's episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down over Zoom with Rose Cochran. She lives in Wisconsin and recently turned 85. Rose has such a wonderful way of telling stories, and she shared some truly meaningful memories from her life. You'll hear about the special bond she had with her grandmother, the way her two older brothers looked out for her as she grew up, and how listening to St. Louis Cardinals games created a lasting connection with her father. It's a conversation full of love, family, and nostalgia, and I'm so excited for you to hear it. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on with me. How's the weather in Wisconsin?
It's hot today.
Is it? It was hot here too. I'm ready
Yeah,
for winter.
me too. I'm ready for some cool weather. I think we're getting ready to get some in just a couple of days.
Right, right. Well,
So where do you live?
I'm in central Iowa,
In what town?
Story City, just north of Des Moines.
Uh-huh. Okay. I don't know that I've ever been there, but
Yeah,
May not have
I've
been.
been close.
close. Yes.
It's a nice name for the town, especially considering this new endeavor that you're working on, Story
Right.
City.
That is true. That is true. We're in Story City, right in the middle of Story County, so it
That's
works out
right.
everywhere. Well, I sure appreciate you guys jumping on. Rose, I would love to hear some of your memories of growing up and your family and your grandma, if you have any stories for me.
My grandmother, this is my grandmother on my mother's side now
Mm-hmm.
of the family. Uh, she was a wonderful person.
What was her name?
um, Mary, let me let
It's
me
Mary Ellen Plank.
yeah, Mary Ellen Plank, Planck.
Right. And what do you remember about her?
I remember that she never ever missed a birthday of any of me or my two brothers. She never missed, she didn't wasn't always there, but we always got a package in the mail from her,
Right.
which was really exciting to us because we didn't get very many uh, things come through the mail for us.
Right.
And uh, clothes, she made she made a lot of my clothes that I wore. She was a very, very talented seamstress. Um, I don't know where she learned to do it, but she was excellent.
Hmm.
She could see a picture maybe in the newspaper or someplace of a dress, and if I said I liked the way that was made or something, she'd go sit down and make a pattern for it
Wow.
and make it. She could make a dress, she could cook, she could just sew anything. Very talented.
You
She
mentioned she didn't miss any birthdays and she would send you gifts. Do you remember a gift that sticks out?
Most all of mine were made by her.
Yeah,
She made most of them. I couldn't I couldn't tell you what one looked like now, but I probably or may have some pictures around
right.
that might have of some, but that's getting a long ways back right now.
That is true. That is true.
So, but uh, and tell me, are you making you a little book? Is that it, or
So
uh,
I'm just recording your stories in your voice. I've been doing that for people for a couple of months now, and It's just a way to preserve memories.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I feel like my grandmother is one person that I'll never forget. But that may change with health and all that. Uh,
Did she come to visit often?
she came to visit us every year, and she would stay a month with us every summer. And she would make all of my clothes to wear to school for that school year.
Wow.
Um,
That's a
but she was just a wonder to me. She was a person that I don't know. I think I loved her so much that she just was perfect. I couldn't tell you a fault about her.
mhm.
She was a great person.
So did you get pretty excited when she was coming, and how did she get there?
Oh, she always came on the bus. She was working in southern Missouri, right down near, where was it?
It's in McDonald County.
McDonald County, Missouri. That's in the very tail end of it. And she would get on the bus down there and come up and see us, and we would take her off the bus at in Bethany, Missouri.
Mhm.
That's where she would get off, and she would stay a month with us every summer. And she made all my school clothes while she was there.
Did she make all the clothes for your two brothers as well?
No, she didn't ever make any of their clothes.
Hmm.
Um, she bought their shoes and all that. My uncle down in southern Missouri had a little grocery and store, and he also sold a lot uh, of or not a lot of, but some uh, clothes and just about anything you wanted to buy. He just about had some of it. And whenever new shipments would come in and she saw things that she thought we would like, it was right during the war when we couldn't buy very much stuff. And she was working there, and she would get things first up. She would get them and put them back for herself, and uh, that would be Christmases and birthdays and everything else coming up for me and my brothers. And
Where did she sleep when she came up?
she slept with me.
Well, do you
I'm
think
beginning to think that maybe you were her favorite. What do you think?
that's what I'm thinking?
Well, I was the only girl that my mother had, so just me and my two brothers, and uh, she and I were very, very good, deep friends.
Hmm.
Right up until the time she passed away, I went to see her quite often. And after I got out of high school, I would go on weekends sometimes down to South Missouri and see her.
Hmm.
And she was just very, very special to me.
You said she traveled up to see you and got off in Bethany. You were in Gilman City, is that at that time? Is that true?
Where was your farm?
Well, our farm was in, I'm trying to think of the county. It's
Harrison.
Harrison County, Missouri. It's right up on it. It's on the line of between um,
What was the town you were closest to?
Bethany, Missouri, with
Gilman. Gilman City.
Gilman City was where, but we didn't get our mail there either. We got our mail from uh, Brimson, Missouri, which is way out in the country. But we did most of our grocery buying at Gilman City, and now Gilman City is a town no more. It does not have a post office. It doesn't have their school is all but gone. Part of it is bussed out every morning to a town farther away, and it's just all but gone. The whole town is gone. So uh, I would be one of the latter ones to even be living in that gay and that town. And the town had a big bad fire way back when my grandmother, and by the way, she had gone to school there too, and she was going to be a senior. And just before school started, her to be her senior year, they had a big fire and it burned the school down.
Wow.
And she didn't ever get back to school. So she didn't graduate, but she was awfully close. She was going to be a senior that year, and she had planned to go and graduate. But when the fire came up and burned everything down, and she just finally just gave it up and got married instead.
And that was you said that was your grandma that?
That was my grandmother,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And so they lived in North Missouri for several years. I was a little girl when my grandfather died, and she went back to southern Missouri then and lived with one of my aunts down there, another daughter. And then she came every year. She came and spent a month with us. And we always had a wonderful time. We looked forward to it. All year we looked forward to it. And every time one of us had a birthday or anything to celebrate, there would come a little package in the mail from my grandmother. She would send it to us, and it was very seldom back in that day that kids got mail at all, and to get a package from her was really something special.
You mentioned that she made all your clothes for school, and she was a great seamstress. Did she teach you how to sew as well?
I watched her. I watched her very close, and I can't do some of the things that she did, but yes, she did teach me, and I appreciate it very, very much. And I like to sew. I used to sew a lot for my daughter, and I sewed a lot all through the years for myself. And
Did you think of your grandmother while you were sewing?
oh yeah, I think there's not many days go by that I don't think about my grandmother somewhere along the way. She's in there. She's attached to my brain real tight.
You told me once that I asked you if when you get to heaven, who do you want to see? And you told me, I'd like to see my grandmother. She was first on your mind.
I would do anything for my grandmother.
Tell us about when she died? Did she have a long sickness?
No, she hadn't been sick, and that I knew about, she had still been working some in the store down there. Uh, but she got sick, and they took her to the doctor, and they put her in the hospital, and she didn't get out.
Where is she buried?
She's buried in southern Missouri, there, and not very far from where.
Isla May is? Okay.
Mhm. So she's very special to me.
What words describe her personality?
She was, I don't know of anybody that did not like my grandmother. She was special. She knew, since she had lived in northern Missouri, she knew a lot of people up there. So she knew people in both places, in southern Missouri, northern Missouri, and she always, every place she went, she saw people she knew. And I remember one time when we were going down to see him, driving down, and on the way, we heard on the car radio, and it was probably the first car we had that had a radio. I'm sure it was. They announced a bad car accident, and it killed this couple. I don't remember the name of the people, but she knew them when she lived here. Okay. And of course, she was in southern Missouri when this happened, and we got on down there, and my mother thought, well, she would tell her about this couple that had died in this accident, but she already knew all about it. It was already on their news. And she knew all about it, and she knew more about it than we did. Yes. But she lived up here in northern Missouri all of her young years, and then later on, after her husband had died, my grandfather, she went back and lived in southern Missouri with one of her other daughters. She had 3 daughters. And so it was down there when she passed away. And she's buried down there.
Did you go to the funeral?
No, I couldn't go to the funeral because I was sick.
Oh.
I don't remember what was wrong with me, but I was sick, and I had been in bed for several days.
Did you have any children by then?
Yes, all of you.
All 3 probably. Of us?
I know that I had Tim, and okay. No, I wasn't married then. I wasn't married.
When he died? So you didn't have us yet?
No, I didn't have you kids. Okay. I did too. I had Tim was on the way.
Oh, maybe that's why
Tim was on the way, and she had made him a outfit of clothes before she died.
Well,
and I had those for a long time. But she was still doing her sewing. I've missed her. I've missed her very much. She was probably the most memorable person to me that I've of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have told my mother that, but she was very, very, very important to me.
This episode of the Well, What Do You Know podcast is brought to you by P Squared Design, where your memories become keepsakes. Imagine this: Grandma's voice reading a bedtime story, even when she's miles away. At P Squared Design, we record those special moments, like grandparents reading to their grandkids, and turn them into lasting treasures. We create a beautiful bookmark with a QR code that, when scanned, plays that recording anytime, anywhere. It's story time, on demand, with the people who matter most. Visit psquareddesign.com to explore our work and start creating something unforgettable. That's psquareddesign.com. P Squared Design. Your story, your voice, your keepsake.
Welcome back to Well, What Do You Know? Let's get back to our conversation with Rose Cochran.
I wondered, Rose, if you remembered any stories of your brothers growing up?
Well, right offhand, I don't think of anything. I know that there's a lot of them out there, and
What about,
we.
what about when Dawn helped you go to take the bus that Papa didn't want you to go on? And do you remember that story? Yes, we had a country schoolhouse out there, and then they reorganized and they were taking all these country schools into Gilman. And which we still lived way out in the country, but we were going to Gilman to school on the bus every day. But then I was probably, I don't know, maybe junior or senior. My dad had run for school board and was elected. And anyway, he was very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
wasn't the conflict that you were supposed to ride the bus on an athletic event?
Yeah, on all athletic events, they had this rule that we were supposed to ride the bus because they knew who we were with and all that way.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one night we had a basketball game, and I was on the team. Had a basketball game in a town away from there, and I was supposed to I had gone home out in the country after school, and then I was to go back to Gilman to get on the bus and go to that town. And the town was way north of us, quite a ways. And anyway, my dad decided that he was not going to spend his gasoline taking me back to Gilman that night. He was going to just take me to the place where we were playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, we can't do that. Everybody has to meet and we have to go on the bus. That was the rule. And so we got into quite an argument, and finally my brother Don came along and kind of softened the argument a little bit. And then he got me by the arm and pulled me away, and he took me anyway back. My brother took me back to Gilman to meet the bus. And but I even told my dad, I said, Dad, you were on the school board, and this is one of the things that you
were for and you voted for, and that the kids had to leave from school and ride the bus when they go to school events.
So did Don and Bill, did they take care of you a lot growing up?
Oh yeah, it was Don. Don did.
Yeah.
Don took good care of me. Don didn't play basketball or anything like that. He didn't care for sports, but I was crazy about him, and so uh, he got me by the arm and got me away from my dad that night because they had told my dad that the rule was if you didn't go on the bus, you didn't get to start the game. And I wasn't wanting to sit on the bench.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And
what do you remember about Bill? Was
Bill took me a lot too. Bill liked to have me around. Bill, my oldest brother, he even took me with him a time or two when he had a date with Linda.
And you stayed good friends with your brothers all your life?
Yes, we were very good friends always. But my dad was a very strict dad, and he did not like it when I told him that he was one of them that helps make that rule that we had to leave from Gilman on the bus.
You know, it's still a rule now, and if you don't ride the bus, you don't get to play at all. So I'm sure that was the same.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And so, but I maybe started that.
You mentioned, Rose, that you were crazy about sports and you played basketball. Did you play any other sports?
I played a lot of baseball along the way too.
Mm-hmm.
Softball.
Sure.
But it was softball for women and girls.
Mm-hmm.
I played in high school. I played basketball and softball, and I played a lot of softball later on too. Had a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I still could, but that's out.
Right.
And you played softball even when I was in.
Oh yeah.
When I was in high school, you were still playing softball.
I played softball until, well, maybe, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago.
No, I think it's more than that, Mom.
Might have been. I don't know. But anyway, it's been not too long ago, and I was still playing quite a bit of softball in the summertime.
Do you think you could still play now?
I wish I could. I don't think I could get very far. I don't. I think I would be running pretty slow. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it would be good for me to try it. So but I'd be silly enough to try it, maybe.
Yeah. Was softball your favorite sport then?
Softball was. Well, now I love to play my basketball, but I love to play softball too. Yes.
Yeah.
They were both pretty precious to me. I could hit the ball pretty good. I was not the fastest runner on the team, but I could hold my own pretty good. And but I just love sports.
Yeah.
And I got that from my dad because he liked them too. Um, he he pitched. He pitched on a softball team, not softball, hardball team.
Mm-hmm.
When I was playing on teams by that time, and he was going every weekend and playing on a team over in Brimson.
Hmm.
He was the pitcher.
Yeah.
So
Did you pitch also?
I played softball.
Right. Were
Hmm?
were you the pitcher?
No, I wasn't the pitcher.
Mm,
I was a shortstop.
shortstop. Now shortstop is generally the best player on the team, so I think you're telling me something there.
Well, might have. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved sports, and I still do, and um, I even like to watch the Cardinals on the TV when they playing.
You and me both.
Today I do.
Yep, I do too. I watched them today, although it hasn't been as much fun recently as it has been in the past, but I do enjoy watching my Cardinals.
I do. That was my dad's team, and when I was just a little girl before I had ever started to school, um, he would have to go. He loved the Cardinals, by the way,
Hmm.
and he would have to go out to the field to work, and he wanted my mother to always keep score for him, and he meant to put down what each player is doing all the way, and she immediately figured out a way to make me a list of all the things, and I wasn't old enough to be able to really write good and all that, but that's where I learned to write and and keep score was keeping score for Dad while he was out working.
That's great.
And so I just sat in front of that radio, and this was back in the day when you had that great big box radio that sat on the floor, and it was as tall as I was, and we kids were not allowed to play with that radio. That was my dad's and mom's, and had to be treated with care. But I could listen to all the baseball I wanted on there. And but Dad would he would make me a list of how drawing pictures and showing me how I could.
You had to do strikes and balls, and
Yeah,
walks and
yeah.
RBIs.
And I would sit there. I wasn't old enough to go to school, but I would keep score for him. And he had all these symbols of how they would go out and all that. If it was a fly out or if it was a bouncing ball to shortstop or whatever. And I had my own little way of transporting it to his paper that he had where he was supposed to be reading what the game was like when he got back, that he could read it. Actually, uh, he he fixed me up pretty good, and we I'd sit the whole afternoon listening to the Cardinals baseball game.
That's great.
So,
you remember any players that stand out?
oh, Stan Musial
Oh, yeah.
and Slaughter,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Enos Slaughter.
Enos Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all playing, and I can't tell you the rest of them, but they were the main ones.
And you always had the Cardinals radio going when I was growing up.
I know it. I was. I mean, Dad ruined me for being a girl.
Sounds like she raised you right then, Grant.
Yes, we had to be quiet while the game was going on because she was listening and she was
Absolutely.
making dinner, and we had dinner a lot of times listening to the Cardinals.
Oh yes,
You remember
yes.
Ozzy,
Ozzy, yes,
the famous shortstop? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we are just about to be kicked off, guys.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because our time limit's just about up on this Zoom. So, Rosie, I really appreciate hearing all your stories, and I wish I could have met your grandma. She sounds like an amazing person.
My grandmother was a very, very special person. I think that she was just really, everybody liked her.
Yeah.
I think everybody just really had uh, a lot of
Seems
love
like
for
she was
my
well
grandmother.
respected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very good. Best grandma that ever was.
Thank you very much for talking to me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Eric, so
Yeah.
much.
You bet.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll be talking to you. See ya.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to Well, What Do You Know? The podcast created to tell people's stories. Everybody's got a story, and every story is worth saving.
The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Well, What Do You Know podcast, P Square Design, Pagitech LLC, or our sponsors. The Well, What Do You Know podcast, its parent company, and its sponsors are not responsible for any statements made by guests during the recording or publication of this episode.